Hello, Peter. Happy Friday.
Hello, happy Friday. Is it true that we have only 3 episodes, including this one, left till the end of the season 2?
Probably, yes. We have three left. This one, yeah, 2 weeks more. We're gonna finish. I think it's the 16. No, not the 16. No, the 16th of December will be our last one, wrapping up and closing out this beautiful season. So that will be the final point for the next page, 2023. By the way, let me take this moment because we relate with this. The survey on the poll on our LinkedIn account for you guys to pick the most suitable time, which one of the afternoon, early evenings, which day. So we are trying to test with the audience. Go there and fill the survey, and we can adapt our life for the next season. Maybe we do a different time, a different day. Maybe Saturdays at 12 with a BIM Cafe with a BIM drink. No.
Very good, guys. And I think this is important for us because we look for all of the LinkedIn algorithms and the planning, and we cannot find the right time. So it's just fantastic. You need to help us. Please just go and click. I think it's on our site. We will put also in the comments below. We will just click on it. Try just to get some. That's just simple. Try to give us your feeling where you would like to hear us, or if you don't like to hear us, it's also good.
Just comment no time.
Oh,
Well, fantastic. So let's present today's interview. We have with us today. We have a very good conversation with Aitor Aragón. He's a member from UNE, is the normalization standard organization in Spain. And as I said, we have a very interesting talk. Will be released right after this interview, already in YouTube, ready for you guys. So go there and subscribe as well. I use this slot to a bit of promotion. And we talk about BIM and norms. So this is a bit different scope. Okay, it's not another architect talking about BIM. It's at least about BIMs and how the norms, or how we really hit him hard. Why the norms are stopping BIM? Is this really the reasons why BIM is not developing properly? But we get a good insight. For me, it was impacting the fact that not all this is not there is norms and there is standards. There's some things are mandatory, other things are recommendations. So not everything needs to be followed. No, so it's not as hard as it looks like.
yeah. No, we were asking very difficult questions, and I was just finally at the end saying, "Just my God, nobody will just come back to us." So because it was really we challenge poor guy with our.
Yeah.
So, but I think the overall its quality was really good.
No,
So
he stays still there. Fantastic. So the first thing that we did, and this is something that you, as I remember in the interview, so the speed of the standards and the speed of the market, how the time that a norm or a standardization goes get processed and approved, blah blah blah. By the time it gets out, is it out to date? Is it like already relevant? No, because it's true that the market speed is way different and goes with different flow than the market. So this was a very good question. Let's see what Aitor said, and then we comment afterwards.
go ahead. There's one single market, but if 25 countries agree on the one letter in the document, take 2 years to get it. If you think about the progress of technology, maybe not in the construction, but if you think, I think it is as well because of the materials and the evolution. The standards are already outdated when they hit the market. So how are we dealing with this? Because the speed of the standard and speed of the market, there are two different speeds, really.
Yes, but in a way, or how I feel it, what you say is completely true. You have to make the standards fit for that. For example, the ISO 19650, the requirements are open enough that you have to define it from your own company, and probably in 2 years it will be valid. You will have to change the processes in your company, but the standard might be valid. You have to be very careful when you set a limit or a value or something that will change. But we try to avoid that. And there are things that are in a way up to the market, and others are not. For example, IFC, I agree that you might need more speed in some definitions, but if you don't have something fixed and everybody can define their own new parameters, there will be no communication between software and things. So it's I agree this is a problem, but in a way I want to highlight that you don't need the unanimity. You don't need all the people to vote in favor. we have a weighted process in which you need, I think it's 71% or something like that. So it's
Come on,
So okay, not everyone needs to be.
I don't want to be interviewed by me for sure. that's guaranteed. Okay.
Funny. No, but what I will highlight from this on the speed of the market that you were completely right. Asking this question is that I thought picture that the norms and all those standards that go out, they're open enough to be somehow interpreted. No? So now I raise another question. So if they're so open enough, why do we need to follow them? Are they really necessary? No, so that came sound now to my mind. Right?
My God, that's good. I'm just scared to listen to this, but I think that we need to find the speed. I think that's also on the construction side. I think that's really what's blocking. For me, that is blocking us. So, but,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, different flows and different speed there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good. Let's jump to the second one. Something very important here, probably a mistake that everyone's went through many times if you try to look at all those norms related with BIM, because if you put ISOs for BIM or any other standards locally or globally, you realize that not all the norms are related to BIM are for the end user, like me as a constructor, you as an architect, the other ones as a developer. It's basic with developer, yes, it's mostly for software developers. So the structure behind how they need to structure the data, how the software needs to work, this is what many of the norms are focused to. So let's say a majority of them on the big map that Aitor showed also on the presentation, they are mostly for mathematicians or software developers. So we don't need to worry about them. This is a big highlight, I would say, here, because if you look, let's say, again, for BIM norms, it's completely crazy, but not all of them, they are really relevant for the day-to-day work. So let's take a look what Aitor comments about that, and we say afterwards.
Map, it's
a roadmap of all the BIM laws. So yes. I'm gonna ask you something. I don't want to be tough, but is this maybe a reason why BIM hasn't been implemented on the pace we shouldn't?
It might be, but the idea is, and it's something that I didn't achieve to do, but in this report, but other colleagues are doing, and I might sell after that a link. Is who is the intended user? Many of these standards are not for you. You're an architect. You work with BIM software. Are for BIM developers, so they have to comply with it. You don't really care about what is the many things that works on the infrastructure of BIM. You don't need to know them. So if you have to comply yourself with all these and all the other standards that are referred in these standards, then you will have a huge problem. But that is not the case. Let's say
yeah, so because mainly there, one of the, let me see on the screen, one of the others standard, which is Aitor said, they are for software developers who need to connect those databases to be able, okay, this software can do.
We will see an example later. An example of a standard we developed in Spain is based on a European document that you will not use as a standard, but you might, even not knowing it, you might use the data generated with this standard.
Yeah. So one day. So as I said, no, this is basically what we comment, but yeah, that you need to calm down that not all the standards related with BIM, they're for the end users. And the question that Aitor was asking, like, who is the end user? So you need to, depending on your position, you will look for certain standard. And it's not like all these beautiful map that I criticized to him, like, this is the reason why BIM is not implemented. They are really useful for us as an end user in a project, you work in a studio or all the construction side even. No?
Yeah, I know. From the practical perspective, if you see the slide which you cannot read it, I think there's something wrong with it.
Yeah, we agree on that. But this is an idea to picture, like, okay, we're organizing this behind. There's a reason why all the software work this way, or why things are done away. This is why I understand they would try to show from the standardizations and software developers that it's not a structure. This is not an app or any software. It's been just developed for this. There's a reason behind every single coding or every single step. And at least we want to believe, right?
No, yeah, but just this is, we cannot block it. It's just, I think the construction industry is so late already that we cannot block it with the norms, which will not be easy to understand and easy to implement.
No, completely.
I don't know.
Also the vocabulary on the we are not here for the norms and blows, but well, sometimes they are necessary, or at least they are there. So we need to learn how to not avoid them, but understand them, or take the benefit of it. Just make it useful and practical, like we try with the BIM. Good. So we jump now with what we do with the main topic of the interview, and it's pretty interesting because it's something we are discussing about. Something that's going to happen on the future is the DOPs or the smart CE marking. So it's all the performance, all the digital performance of your products or your materials that the manufacturer needs to issue, and today they do in paper or PDF, how the European Union basically is trying to digitalize, how we're trying to make it digital, accessible, easy to consume. This is a very big topic. It's coming with the regulation of the construction products, and we need to take a look at this. So let's go to listen what Aitor has to explain about this, and then we comment after. But this is a very important topic we can start to dig on.
It's a very important document because the manufacturer has the full responsibility of everything contained in the document. If you go to a judge, there is no doubt about who is responsible. If you have a BIM object and there's a mistake in the file and something happens in your building, who is responsible? The one that provides the BIM object, you, because don't check it? Well, you will have to go to a judge and let's see what happens. But in this case, it's completely clear. You have a document signed and the manufacturer assumes full responsibility. So it's a very important document in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
But it has a problem. We used to provide it in paper, and now you have PDF, which from my perspective is the same as paper. Okay, it's more ecological because you don't have to print it, but it's not a structure, and then you have to type again, so it's crazy.
It's not the digitalization of information. No? People say, you have your product digitally. Yeah, of course, we have all the PDFs.
I have a picture of the product. I took a picture. I can send it by WhatsApp. Well, we're not thinking of that. So in next slide, this was a concern for many years, and here what I try to. Manufacturer currently is selling with the CE marking. He doesn't need anything more. And someone arrives to the factory and, oh, don't worry. And a lot of things, software concepts, a lot of things came down. And if you click again, there's also additional problems. You have objects in BIM that are not compatible with newer versions, which is, from my perspective, is crazy. Many products don't need a geometry. What is the geometry of cement or an additive or even concrete that you build it on site? What is the meaning of the property? What is thermal conductivity? I don't know. It depends on the test. It depends if you measure it with this distance, with this different. It depends on a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And in Europe in general, it's not allowed to declare information contained in the CE marking in a different place. So you are put in a different place. So you might have even problems with legal requirements. So due to these problems, in the next slide, the industry proposed a solution a few years ago, as you can see, which is make a digitalization of the CE marking. You can have your BIM object with the geometry and other things, but the data, you should have it in an XML, very simple file with all the information of the CE marking. And you know that this data, the manufacturer is responsible. You are safe in a way. So that's exactly the idea. I would highlight that I work also in product certification in going to factories, and I think they are not they are even happy to have full responsibility because it comes with the presumption of conformity. That means that public administration and any economic actor should give presumption of conformity to this declaration, that the performance declared is good and valid, which allows them to sell in any country. So I think that what you have to do and what they do is to have a lot of care with the testing and with everything to really be sure that you do the things all right. Mm-hmm. But the problem is with digitalization, because then you feel that you lose control because you look and see what you are signing physically in a paper, and then you scan it or whatever. But here,
no one read it. I thought no one read it.
The judges, if you have a problem, you saw it on.
As we say, we are really attacking Aitor there now.
We're getting better and better. I think I'm not sure if anybody will show up on the next one on season 3. And okay.
Jokes apart, this last slide that we see in the presentation after is an interesting conversation because, as I said, the European Union is promoting those product digital passport as a way of delivering all this information, all this testing on the graph we saw on the screen before. All the green parts belong to the manufacturer and they are responsible, okay? They have the responsibility to deliver this information. So it's not digitalized, it's not useful, it's not practical. That for me, that means that it's weaker. It's not useful. You don't need to, you cannot use it. I mean, you can deliver me a bunch of papers with a lot of tests and so on of a PDF and no one will read it. It's not machine readable. it's not now for us to start to look for the object. It needs to be digitalized in a more clear way. And Aitor is talking about open XML format, complementary to the BIM objects to show all this product data and test results and so on, and be more specific, and mostly leave it for the machines, not for the human to go there and look for the properties on the PDFs.
Yeah, no, I think what the format, I don't think so. It's important. This is the same discussion what we have in terms of the open beam, smart CD, smart beam, smart whatever. All of these formats are important, of course, but I think the one of the things which is key is really openness of the standard. So I hear it, yeah, XML with the data correct, but I don't still see the going forward in the easy way. But we will see.
We'll see. Okay, let's we'll end this topic because
somebody is knocking.
Somebody's knocking. Like some constructions are happening around.
I hope they're doing BIM. Okay.
Yeah. So this any noise construction doing BIM. So fantastic. We look, as I said, the CPR, construction product regulation from the EU. This we will talk on this topic, and then we go right after.
Manufacturer is obliged to provide, for each track that you mentioned, Peter, is obliged to provide a copy of the declaration in paper. So if you have 7 tracks, you can tell him, give me 7, which is completely insane, as you can imagine. And for example, that is maintained here. You have to, in a way, they say that you might be an end user, and you, as the consumer, right to have the document you can read, things like that. But on the other hand, there are some topics, and probably, I think, I'm not sure if it's in next slide. Yeah. They are doing some things. This was a joke, more or less. Talk about 2 things, that this should include a smart DOP, which is the smart CE. CE refers to CE marking, and DOP is the declaration of performance. Are 2 documents with the same information. I don't understand why we have 2, but we have 2 with the same information. But it's the same. So they are talking about the same we were talking before. The data of the product should be available in an structured format. And about blockchain, something that I don't like, but it's it's a term that many people use. So there are some they're trying to include digitalization, and I think it will be very important for everything. And if
so, that's the way that it looks like the EU wants to, the European Union wants to make it happen. No, this thing we talk here about digitalization, make the product data machine readable, is something they're moving forward. So it's another no medal for us, but say like, hey, kudos. We are not talking here just you and me alone about digitalization and BIM. The world is moving this way, and there is the support on the European Union. We will see that at the end. Aitor mentioned something very important, that there is no still any market in size America, Europe, or Asia, whatever, that has developed these standards or digitalized products data. So the first one who does is going to set the mark for the following ones in the construction world. So it's very important that the European Union is moving forward towards that direction.
Yeah, no, I think that there also we heard the comment about the blockchain and the way how it works. I think there is a couple of the good initiatives. I saw it on the startups right now, trying just to make a transparency in all of these documents and having the ability to really look at the whole chain of the information. The blockchain can be the interesting part. So I think this is important.
Mm-hmm.
The problem will be also with the platforms which will be running on this, but a couple of the good ideas coming on this interview. So I think it's a good to follow up on some of these ideas in the season 3. In fact, yeah.
Of course, and while, for example, there's something. Well, for example, this called the EPDs. We're going to talk about the EPDs now, the environmental product declaration. And this is a big topic which is taking a huge impact. I got this on my previous exhibition on the BIM World Munich, and also in the BIM Expo in Madrid. Many people were talking about that the environmental, the carbon emissions, the embodied carbon emissions on their products. This is a topic which is hot now on the market. Everyone wants to have that information declared on their products. So we now currently is displayed on the environmental product declaration, which is another massive file of PDFs or printed paper on the site. But why don't we include this on those XML formats, on those DOP files, digitalized, easy to use, because it's why don't we make it that way? No? So we discussed also about this initiative with Aitor, and he gave us good comments that the European Union again and other bodies, they're trying to make it happen. So let's take a look at the clip and then we comment afterwards.
Again, we came to the APDs. These are the parameters of the APDs. As you can see, you have a lot, okay, and you have in all these
10%,
stages
10%
on all the
fine.
products and everything. So the idea is that these parameters will probably be included in the CE marking. So in this proposal, I think that during the changes that will be made, I think it will be very important if we can achieve a format or something like that allows manufacturers to include their parameters in a digital format, and that this format can be used on site by the construction company or by anyone. It is yet unclear how that will be done, but I really think that this is a really good opportunity we have in Europe. And the good thing is that if we achieve a format in Europe, again, we will have something like we were talking before about the single market. The same format will be valid in all Europe. And if so, when something is valid in the main market, because it's a little bit bigger than the US or yet still even than China, a lot of people will follow because a lot of countries have a lot of trades and they will have to use it. So it's achieve something there might be a push for digitalization, I think, worldwide. In Europe for sure, but even worldwide.
And very hopeful statement from at the end, right?
Yeah, no, but I think that's for sure. I'm not sure if it should be included in because the one of the things which he is saying that information need to be sent with the product because that's the regulation. Why the information cannot stay on the manufacturer side and just have only the link? And I try to understand the information because if it goes with the flow and all of this. Look at this. Thousands of different parameters for the echo, the CRP, CPR, whatever the name is. It's thousands of it. So and it will change. You will just change. Will change the temperature of the whatever of the way how you just prepare the some of the components. You will need to change it. So, wow, that's really heavy. Yeah, I'm very happy.
But it's interesting when you're proposing, to instead of delivering with an independent format, same as we try to do also with the BIM objects, so having a unique source, and every time you want to check, you check them, so the manufacturer is able to update it and modify it and create it specifically for your values and so on, because those environmental product declaration values, they are huge tables that they are somehow simulating a scenario of 100 kilometers or 10 years, the fixed values, no? So you need to extrapolate all of them to the real scenario you want. So why not to have them on the database and you can connect with them in a way and get the information. It's a good thought there.
I'm just it's right now I'm putting my CAO head on it and saying, so what you will do in 20 years, how you will keep if you because the buildings will stay for 30, 50, whatever number of years. What will happen because the technology will change? So just how you will just make sure that you will migrate this data going with along with the life cycle. We don't have the experience, so that's the one. The second part is the security. If some person will just connect to your object and change the parameters to get access to the particular building or to send the maintenance team much easier, and that will be the fake maintenance team. Either just wow. That's the topic for the next season, guys.
IT cloud service there. Yeah,
that's IT cloud. Okay, let's talk about IT cloud. No,
it's a good one. Like having the data interlaced, interconnected, so everyone can access. And of course, if you take the modification, it's good to open it, but also you risk that. No? Same with the bank security and so on. So yeah, still we're still a couple of years away of that, but that's how towards we are evolving. No, and this is something I perfectly linked to our last clip today. After everything we talked with Aitor, we have all these new ideas how the construction world will work. I picture him like, okay, let's see how this world will work if everything goes fine. So this I to my place, I can scan it and so on, and let's see how it should be. If we really like all these new ideas connected between the set and everything works smoothly. So let's see how is this utopic world, and if we like it, we can go for it. picture now to wrap up all the interview, or mostly the last part. I'm gonna picture the ideal world as we are describing for the digitalization. Let's see if you like, no? So I'm sitting as the facility manager on my construction site, and the 7 trucks arrive every 15 minutes, people say. So I have to go on a schedule, and the first truck arrived with a material A, cement or whatever, no, or concrete or whatever. I'm gonna check if that is the correct material. It comply with the regulations of my construction site. Of course, with the content so on, they will be checked beforehand. I expect, and we're gonna relate here to something we already talked on the BIM Cafe with Ignacy. I remember also Ivan. First of all, everyone has a phone. Okay, everyone has a phone, and on the site, and when you go, I write that track. Okay, perfect. Give me the QR code. I scan the QR code. I check the QR code, so that's open the XML file, and of any software application, whatever, it will match of those requirements. Okay, this is the cement I ordered this day. Perfect, it's correct. It came 7 kilos. Okay, perfect, it's correct. Blah 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 blah. And I move forward with something we already discussed with Ivan. Okay, I'm gonna make this small publicity with for other interviews I have here with Ivan Gomez from BT Lab, that he was mentioning. We need to deliver also processes, not just information, also processes. So with that scan, I also get perfect. This cement goes delivered to the 3rd floor because it's gonna be part of the beams or the pillars or the ceiling of that floor. It needs to be placed under this room and stored and installed the following day. And when the sedimentation happens, I'm just making it up, okay? And all this with scanning my code, scanning the code on the with a big XML file. And on the top of that, all the EPD regulation and all the carbon that this cement emits to the atmosphere during this process from the factory to the site is already there. I don't want to check it. I don't really care because it's nothing to do with my construction site, but it's already there, included on that. Is there where we want to go? No?
Yes, and it can be used for other calculation after that. On your site or other manufacturer, for example, in Spain, concrete, ready-mix concrete manufacturer has to check, and I was an editor for that. We have to check that they check that the cement and the aggregates and things like that were when they arrive. So they have to put something in a list or something like that. Now you can just scan it and use this guy, which is in charge, the quality manager, because I have the email of the code of his phone, check it at that time, it was compliant. It's stored in the database, and they only have to do that. And then I can go to the log and say, okay, you check all the materials. And it will be, and I can even do it. I don't have to go to their factory to do that. I can even do it if they give me access.
Yes.
So
how do you? Beautiful or not?
No, I think it's a beautiful. It's just a question. I think if we can automate it, and just I remember 10 years ago we have the big theme when I was working in GE Steel. We have the idea of just validate who is doing the checker. So because if you're checking the checker, who was already checking something, it means that you're doubling the job. It means that you're assuming that the job is not done. So how you make the things on the first step that is good, and can you build the mechanics to stop it, because you were saying about the truck which is coming with the product. If, for example, the company who is even loading the truck will have the ability to check the material, scanning as you mentioned, scanning the codes, but when it's loaded to the truck, and the truck saying just I cannot go because that's not confirmed with the construction side. On the construction, they said you need to have norm ABCD, and this is and you don't have it, right? I cannot go. So you can just go much earlier in the cycle, because checking the checker when you're already on the construction, when you already install it, then it's just the thing. But ideal. That's
ideal, yeah. Well, also idea go here. When I check it with my phone, I will do the checking, so they can receive a notification. Hey, this person already checked, so I don't need to do this double check. No, there's technology to do that. No, but this is towards where we're going, and of course to make it easy for everyone. So someone who is just pouring cement every day, 7 hours, 8 hours a day in a construction site says, since we are like BIM, my job is easier. No, it's simple as that. So we don't care about more norms or standardization of the coding and so on, or smart chain or blockchain. Blah, blah, blah.
We are very talkative right now, I think.
Yeah, we to cut it down.
Yeah.
Let's do like on the clubs. It's put a bit of music, lights up the lights. Okay, we are time to close down the episode, guys. No, seriously, very interesting interview with Aitor. I recommend everyone to go right now to YouTube, watching it full in English, available for everyone. And more interviews coming, as Peter just said. We're finishing the third to go episode. Next week will be the last interview published. We have already a backup interview for the next season as well. Of course, many people requesting us, so we need to put them in queue. And the last episode will be a special one, closing up what we saw on this season 2. And if Pietro will say if he found the money or not. But you need to find a new goal for the next season, okay? Because you're always looking for money. People at the end you get tired. No, so say that you found it, you found some hints or not, but you need to look for a new thing. Yeah.
We have a couple of the good interactions over the last 2-3 weeks, so this is good. The people try to convince me that it's not about the money, so I completely agree it's not about the money, because we are doing this as a non-commercial event, so we are not getting any money for this one. But for the BIM guys, this is the construction, this is billion industry, which is still missing the productivity or maybe some of the push. So if we will find it, the world will be a better place for us, right? We have it one of episode 3 or 4 times, 3-4 weeks back. Zero budget, no, zero schools, no zeros.
Zero budget project, no? The project with zero budget.
Right.
Yeah.
So because of using the BIM, they save the money and they have the money to build the school. Hey, come on, let's just think about this way. Anyway, I'm getting excited about it. So, guys, do not forget to subscribe. I just don't know where the button is. So okay.
I put it around here. The link. Go to the BIM Cafe on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. This will give us the numbers go out. It will give us more energy to keep doing this. Okay, so please stay tuned. Next Friday at 10 a.m. the last interview episode, and the following one, the 16th, we close the season. Okay, so please start to join, watch on demand, on time, and fill out the survey, guys. Fill out the survey to tell us if you prefer to have it on the evenings, if you prefer to hear us before you go to bed, if you prefer to hear us just when you wake up. No, this is
that will be scary.
That was scary, yeah.
Listen about beaming when you're going to bed. Okay, guys, just not in the evenings. That's my question.
No.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate to have you all. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for commenting and sending the questions afterwards. Looking forward to talk to you next week, Enrique. And happy weekend.
Happy weekend, everyone. Enjoy. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, bye. Have a good one.